The city of Markham. Before I make some remarks, I just want to recognize a couple of people, and certainly members of council, because we are all standing united as a council to speak out against this issue. First of all, I want to recognize from the Consul General's office, Deputy Consul Zhu Wei, who is here. Welcome, Deputy Consul. And then from our council, we have Deputy Mayor Jack Heath, who is here. Welcome, Jack. Regional Councillor Jolie, welcome. Regional Councillor Nanala Armstrong is also here. I don't know if all of Ward 2 Councillor Alan Ho, who is here. Welcome, Alan. Ward 3 Councillor Don Hamilton is also here. Ward 5 Councillor Colin Campbell is here. Ward 6 Councillor Amanda Colucci is also here. Ward 7 Councillor Logan Kanapathy is here. And Ward 8 Councillor Alex Chu is also here. Welcome, Alex. And certainly welcome to all of you, special guests all, and certainly to members of the media. I appreciate you being here. I felt as the Mayor of Markham it was very important to speak out against the publishing of the video game called Dirty Chinese Restaurant. I'm appalled, disgusted, and outraged by the message that it sends, particularly to children. The game does not in any way reflect our values as Canadians and as Markham residents. Diversity and inclusivity are the hallmarks of our great community. Targeting one cultural group in the name of satire is not only in bad taste, it's offensive and it's racist. And it undermines the contributions that new Canadians make to our community each and every day. I'm deeply disturbed by the game's demeaning depictions of the Chinese Canadian community. And I'm speaking out along with Council because we see this as an opportunity to actually celebrate the outstanding achievements of the Chinese community in the city of Markham. Markham is home to thousands of businesses, many of them owned and operated by Chinese Canadians. And I want to tell you that those businesses, including restaurants, attract people from all over North America and in fact the world. These business owners are here legally. They pay taxes. They comply with the laws of this country, and they adhere to public health standards contrary to what the video game would have you believe. Occasionally, there's some people who've been here for generations or newcomers who are in violation of these requirements, and they are dealt with appropriately through proper agencies, but they are not from one particular cultural group. The Chinese Canadian community represents the best of what our city has to offer: high quality and creativity. I'm joined by some of those business leaders here today, and they will be speaking in a few moments, but I wanted to acknowledge them if I can. And hopefully I'll be able to see where they're standing. I'm not sure if Dr. Ken Ng is here. Well, he will be here hopefully shortly. Dr. Ng is the chairman of the Federation of Chinese Canadians of Markham. Dr. Ng is an immigrant from Hong Kong. He's been practicing medicine for more than 35 years and has established 3 clinics here in Markham alone. He is the founder of the Federation of Chinese Canadians of Markham, which have helped thousands of new immigrants settle in Canada. And of course, they are the founder of the wonderful Taste of Asia celebration that we have here in the city of Markham. Andy Chan, I see. Andy is president of the Markham, Richmond Hill, and Vaughan Chinese Business Association. Mr. Chan is the managing partner of Miller Thompson, specializing in global cross-border practice. Among the numerous awards he's received, Andy is the recipient of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal for outstanding contributions to Canada. Markham Board of Trade's Business Excellence Award, and he's also a frequent speaker on Canada-China investment and business relations matters and policies. And I thank you for being here. Kevin Young. Kevin's right over there. Kevin is president of the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs. Based out of Markham, ACCE is one of the largest national Chinese business associations with more than 1,000 members. Mr. Young is the founder and president of InnoVision, an innovation-focused Markham-based clothing company and accessories brand group. In 2014, InnoVision was awarded the 2014 Best International Business Award by ACCE. In addition to being a successful entrepreneur, Kevin is a leader in advocating corporate social responsibilities. I'm also delighted to have Annie Chan, who is here. Annie is Vice President of the Scarborough York Region Chinese Business Association. Annie is an accomplished real estate professional. She's passionate about giving back to the community. She's been actively engaged in promoting cooperation and mutual understanding in the exchanges among different ethnic communities by volunteering at various community groups such as the Scarborough York Region Chinese Business Association. And as I said, they'll be speaking in a few moments. Their stories are about a few of the inspiring successes that we're sharing with you today. Many came to this country as new Canadians with determination, hard work, and perseverance, and that's what led us to here today. Together, we welcome them, and we certainly recognize their amazing accomplishments, the great things that they have done, the great things that we have done together in our community. To welcome is Canadian. To ridicule in such a demeaning fashion, to hate is not. Markham is also home to over 1,000 technology and life sciences companies and is recognized as Canada's high-tech capital. We support and encourage innovation and creativity, but there's nothing creative or clever about using technology to discriminate. I strongly urge Google, Apple, Android, and other platforms to block this game. I fear it could end up in the hands of young people who can easily be influenced into believing that it's okay to profit at the expense of others. It's not fun to poke fun with so many derogatory messages. It's small thinking. This game perpetuates negative stereotypes we have all collectively worked so hard against. We believe in treating everyone with dignity and respect. We stand together as council and as a community denouncing racism, and we will not tolerate ignorance and prejudice in our great city. And I thank you for coming today. Now I would like to invite up Deputy Councillor.
Your Worship, Mayor Frank Scaviti, regional and city councillors, leaders from Chinese communities, media friends, distinguished guests, good afternoon. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Regarding this issue, I think our spokesperson from the Chinese consulate has issued a statement very clearly to show our attitude. So this afternoon I would like to reiterate our attitude towards this issue. You know, this video game is full of racism and discrimination against Chinese and Chinese culture. The Consul General of the People's Republic of China in Toronto strongly condemns such an irresponsible and discriminatory and derogatory behavior. And we are aware that Canada is a multicultural society in which the different people from different cultural backgrounds respect each other. And Ontario, especially Markham, is home to many Chinese and Chinese entrepreneurs who make great contributions to Markham, Canada, and win respect by local communities. And any society with equity and justice, and anyone with a sense of morality and conscience will not tolerate the racism and the discrimination. The Chinese consulate demand immediately the concerned company stop developing and selling this game, remove it from apps, from internet, and make a formal apology. And we appreciate and glad to see that officials from the 3 levels of government has publicly issued their statement through tweet, through their internet, through their WeChat, and we know that this has to be stopped. And we appreciate for your contributions and efforts to stop these acts of racial discrimination above. I would like to say a few words in Chinese. 前几天我们中国领事馆通过我们的发言人发布了一个声明，关于这款游戏，就说我们中国领事馆严厉谴责这种充斥种族主义和辱华内容的一个游戏。加拿大是一个多元文化的社会，安大略省特别是万锦市华人华侨众多，很多华侨华人和中资企业在这里投资兴业。他们通过辛勤的工作，为当地及加拿大的发展做出了卓越的贡献，赢得了社会的尊重。凡是公平正义的社会和有道德良知的人，绝不会容忍这种种族主义和辱华的行为。所以我们要求该公司立即停止开发、出售，并从网上移除该游戏，公开正式道歉。感谢我们所有的华人社区，我们万锦市政府为制止这次肮脏的这个游戏这个行为所做的贡献。谢谢大家。
Well, good afternoon, all the guests, friends from the media. And certainly, I think we should really give a big applause to the mayor and also member of council for taking the effort to bring this out and to bring the community together as well too. Let's give them applause. Certainly, most of you already read the articles, the information, and we certainly have something to say against that. But I think most importantly, just cut it short, it's very important for us to take the initiative to stop things from inciting further racism as well as inciting abnormal behavior in young people. As the mayor, it may be innocent, someone may develop it, might not understand as much, possibly, might have no intention, we don't know. But the thing is, what the product is. The product it can be, to say, many other uneducated people could be putting things that could be of harmful nature. So I think it's important that we should send a message to make sure that it will not happen at the same time, so we'll not incite people that will be misusing it, directing against certain groups and races, and as well at the same time not to misguide also the young people in general that will be able to do further harms as well in the community. I think there will be other speakers that will be talking. Certainly, we want to thank you all, and thanks to the media and also community for making this support. And I really thank the different levels of government for making this initiative, from federal to provincial, and all the different municipalities, and also the council. They all have made official statements and also distributions already. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Canada is a multicultural country. We have to respect each culture and work out together with each other culture, not to teasing or insult other culture. This is a very unrespectful. We are not allowed to create discrimination and not to create conflict in between other culture. This is really stereotyping and racism on. It's not allowed to stereotyping and racism on neither of any of the culture in our country. We want a happy and harmony in our country, so I think we have to look into this incident. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kevin Young, President of the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs, ACCE. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Scapiti for his leadership on this issue. Markham is the most ethnically diverse city in all of Canada, and it is where ACCE's office is based. My company in the region is also called Markham Home for the last 10 years. ACCE is one of the leading Chinese business organizations in Canada with a broad member base from coast to coast. As you may surmise, our members are Chinese in background, and that's why we're speaking out against the racist and offensive content of this game. Although the creators of this game has said the game was intended to be humorous, we see no humor in the perpetuation of Asian stereotypes that are completely inaccurate. ACC does have members who run restaurants, and very successful ones at that. Chinese entrepreneurs reflected in our membership are involved in all fields offering goods and services in all industries imaginable, demonstrating strong work ethics and hardworking qualities that are opposite of the stereotyping proposed. Moreover, I'm sure that the Chinese restaurant currently being operated in Markham and elsewhere in Canada are first-class establishments that do not serve unsanitary food or dog or cat meat, as the game rudely suggests. So for these reasons, the Association of Chinese Canadian Entrepreneurs is strongly opposed to this video game and the very ideas this represents. Thank you.
Markham, and I also want to say great leader of the Business Association as well.
I'd rather do Andy Chan than Andy Chan first. Mayor, Council, Stephen, Sandra, I'm just so incredibly humbled and impressed looking at this turnout today, looking at the leadership that you brought to the table in such a short period of time. It's absolutely incredible, and I want to give you a hand. 680 News reached out to me last Friday on this issue as well as Global. And the funny thing about the media, they kind of take the sound bits, and that was what was on the 680 News. But they did capture a couple of things. One of the things I just kind of mentioned on the side was that I felt that it was disgusting. And I think they wanted that soundbite, and they got it, and that was fine. But that actually wasn't the gist of what I had said to the media that day. The gist of what I said to 680 News that day was, this isn't an issue of the Chinese. It's an issue of what Canada is, what we are, and what Markham stands for as a melting pot of what Canadian society is. We look around the room today and see all the people here who are supporting this issue, supporting this initiative. It's just absolutely incredible. And again, I'm so proud to be Canadian, to grow up here, to have the international and whatnot exposure that we have to do what we're doing today, because there are many places in the world that you aren't able to do this, and I'm just so proud that we are able to do this today. The last note I want to make is, as great as all this is today, as great as the exposure that we're bringing to the issue, we should be careful not to take this issue too far in the sense of exposure, because all we're doing is allowing these people to get more exposure, to get more media to do. Maybe that was a business decision to do what they do. I'm not sure yet. I know the federal government, some of the provincial government that reached out to me on this issue have expressed the same concerns. So in making our statements, in expressing our thoughts, that's kind of the only balance that I'm asking for. But thank you all for listening.
Would you, I just seeing waved over, so come over and go ahead and say something.
I'm Catherine, representing the Chinese Culinary Cuisine Association of Canada. So we also brought in some owners of restaurants here to support the denouncing conference to the media. So we got the Mr. Kainao, who's from Ottawa, who is also the owner of 7 restaurants. And we also have Ms. Qing Wen, who is the owner of Bashu Renjia. So we are representing more than 200 entrepreneurs in the restaurant business in Markham, in Ontario, and across Canada. So we really feel the hurt from our heart about this game. And actually last weekend, we formed a coalition to be against this action. And we also want to have a campaign in the near future. So the campaign can be named as Clean Chinese Restaurants. So not just not just the restaurants. We know all the Chinese businesses are developing and improving. We also have the supermarket representative. I see Mr. Lin right there, sitting there, is also the supermarket leader in the community, as well as the owner of the Blue Sky. So we know a lot of entrepreneurs and business people are striving and improving, and we are like forming the Diversity Canada with all we can. Thank you so much.
That I really wanted to speak out. We're all adults. I think we can stand up at any podium, anytime, anywhere, and certainly talk about the great accomplishments that the Chinese community has made. I was at several events throughout the weekend. Events where we had either kids in attendance or kids performing up on stage. And I made it very, very clear to those kids that they should be very, very proud of being Chinese Canadians, that they have a lot to be proud of as a culture and the contributions that their grandparents or parents or maybe even great-grandparents made to this country. And I don't want, for one moment, a Chinese Canadian child who was born here in Canada, or even if they weren't born here in Canada, feel for a moment that the culture that they belong to is somehow viewed in the demeaning and derogatory fashion in which this game depicts Chinese Canadians, and particularly those in the restaurant business. I don't want them to feel any negativity at all. I want them to know that they should be proud that the Chinese community has made tremendous contributions to Markham and to Canada. And it's through speaking out, and I agree, we don't want to give the game publicity, but you know what, we have to speak out, because if we don't speak out, yes, the game doesn't get publicity, but then there's literally thousands of kids in our community that go to school, that show up on the soccer field, that show up in arenas, that come to our libraries, who may think they're viewed differently because of this video game. I don't want that to happen in the city of Markham. I want this that are here today. I want to thank the community for being here, but really our message is to the broader community, and in particular the kids in this community. They have a lot to be proud of what their community has done within the wonderful diversity of Markham, and what they've done to make Canada the best country in the world. And so I thank each and every one of those families who work hard every day, who go out, who come here to create a better life for their kids. We're not going to let a video game destroy everything that parents have worked so hard to do, and that is create a better life where kids can walk down the street and be proud that they're here in Canada. So with that, I'm going to open it up to the floor.
Can I ask the first question?
Yes, sure.
After this conference, any further follow-up action will be imposed by the City of Markham?
Yes, so I will be writing to Apple and to Google, asking them not to distribute the game on their platform, recognizing we live in a democratic society. But I certainly will do that on behalf of our council and on behalf of the Chinese community. And obviously, I hope they have an appropriate response and will not distribute the game through their platforms. Yes. Thought I saw another hand back there. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
This is Annie Jean from Chinese Canadian Times. I have two questions for you. First one is there any connections between this game and the hateful graffitis found in the schools in the past few weeks? My second question is rather complicated. We know that there is a slogan in this game makers company which says political correctness is so boring. Apparently, this kind of hatred behaviors is kind of bouncing back of the political correctness that has been emphasized all the time. As a Chinese Canadian myself, I feel very much touched by the people who are standing out here today to condemn this kind of racist games and also to emphasize multiculturalism. But on the other hand, as Andy Chen mentioned in his speech earlier, that the society needs to be a melting pot. So being a melting pot means active assimilation and active mingling from all sides, not only on the side of the mainstream, such as we have the celebrations of the Asian month and also the Chinese New Year's festivals and all these kind of activities or events to emphasize the respect of different cultures. On the other hand, I have just moved to Markham from Ottawa a few months ago, and I learned a very disappointing news from my local friends saying that Halloween here is not as celebrated as in Ottawa because lots of Chinese people, residents, are not that active in celebrating these events. They don't give out candies to kids, which is rather disappointing for my kid who was born in Canada, and Halloween is one of her best day in the year. And so I'm thinking about whether the city needs to take some actions, not just emphasizing the respect of different cultures, but also to encourage people from different origins to celebrate the local value and local festivals and to build a more inclusive society.
I think there's three sort of questions or points. And the first one, and I'm not sure that everybody heard, but you asked if there's any connection between this game and the expression of hatred that was symbolized in playgrounds not that long ago. And so to the best of my knowledge, and obviously that's for other authorities, I would say that there isn't. This is a group of business people who've decided to create a game at the expense of a particular culture group. And and the expression of hatred was quite different, and is being investigated by York Regional Police, and so they're doing their work on that. In relation to a statement that you said the company made that political correctness is boring, well, I think they're saying that from a particular perspective because it helps promote their game. But in my books, respecting someone and the value that they add to a community is not boring. That's not being politically correct. That's recognizing the achievements that the Chinese community and other communities have had here in the city of Markham. So it's not about being politically correct. I can walk, as by the way, they've done to me, come up and I can raise an issue with any one of these people about something I may not like that pertains to a point of view or a direction or an initiative, and they can do the same to me. That's what democracy is all about. But political correctness is not about creating something that's fake. It's about saying that we're not going to characterize one particular group in a certain way. And I think that's very important to say, that it's not about being politically correct. We'll speak out whenever we have to on any issue about any organization or about any person. But that's related specifically to that organization and to that person, not about a particular cultural group. And the more we perpetuate that, the tougher it is for new people, particularly kids that are born here in Canada, in our community, to somehow break the shackles of those, those perceptions, because they just keep getting, ingrained in the culture because of games like this. So it's not about being politically correct at all. If anyone thinks there's no shrinking violets up here, when they have an issue, they speak to me in council. When we have an issue, we speak to them. And it's not about, overlooking everything just because we want to be politically correct. But, in my opinion, we have to respect each other. We have to have the ability to have the discussion in a respectful manner. And we have to acknowledge the very positive achievements that the community has put forward. And your third point about can we do more to allow people to embrace the cultures that exist within Canada today. Oh, there's no doubt we can do a lot more on many different fronts. But I also want to say that we very much, through our programs here at the City of Markham, through our recreational programs, we try to expose kids to different sports and to different traditions by the programs that we have. And I would say that's a good thing, but what's a great thing is that this is what I love about Canada. I often say, when you come here to Canada, we don't want you to leave your traditions and culture at the door. What's great about Canada is that we're able to share our traditions and culture with the rest of the community. And I know that we made some attempts a little while ago with the Syrian refugees to expose them to our community centers and to our community. Now, because of confidentiality and privacy, we weren't able to get that many to come out, but absolutely we do try to encourage participation. It wasn't that long ago that we probably felt that a particular cultural group would not embrace certain sports. You walk into our hockey arenas today, and I heard this very amazing story last year where the hockey team decorated the dressing room for the hockey team when it was Chinese New Year, just so that, again, everyone can appreciate just the way the different cultures have enriched our community. So we are trying. Can we do more? I think all of us can do more. And it can be done at a very personal level. It's by us reaching out, even to our neighbors. And I can personally tell you a story that my family, through a connection next door, they actually went over to the house and helped them show how to carve out a pumpkin and to decorate it. So it can be done on a one-on-one basis. It can be done through organizations. ACCE, they do a wonderful thing. They give, they have welcome kits that they give to newcomers. It's as much about helping them as it is also letting them recognize what's in the local community that they can take advantage of. Please, if anyone else wants to jump in.
I just want to supplement what the Mayor mentioned as well too. I think the word may be misinterpreted in terms of melting pot. What we have in Canada as a mosaic is where it should be the integration. So it's combination of both. And over many, many years, people will be doing the community here and as well as the government, trying to have, certainly, as Mayor mentioned, not to leave the cultures behind, but encourage to embrace it, to appreciate it, but at the same time, now the next step, after feel comfortable, many groups will be helping to integrate them and also have intercultural activities. There are things, initiatives done, and Mayor has mentioned, is in the community, all the activities, all different groups are welcome, as well as individual groups are also doing that. I guess you may be a little bit newer in the community from all of us, and in Markham and many other areas, there's certainly a lot of effort being done, but of course, still can be a lot more to be done, because a lot of efforts still needed and a lot of resources, and all of you can participate and do more as well too, but also the intercultural participation in different groups, whether you go to the Muslims functions, go to the South Asian, and vice versa, and different many groups, and the city has supported the Taste of Asia Festival as well as the e-functions and different activities. I think we have gained a lot, and still, in the school level, there's a lot of efforts being by the school board as well. So that's the appreciation, but not completely, not the U.S., the complete melting pot assimilation. We want it together, and as time goes, the culture will make that happen. You can see it in second generation, third generations, that people already comfortable with each other and mix it. And just give an example, even pumpkins. we have actually coming up in the Pacific Mall, right in the center of the Chinese Mecca. We're having the event this weekend, celebrating Thanksgiving, giving away turkey, introducing people about Turkey, and so on about that. That's another effort that can be done as well too. So there are a lot more information that can come as well.
So where do we go for the turkey?
Pacific Mall.
I was going to say, while we're giving a 10-second commercial, the Markham Museum does have Scary Fest, and a great way to have your kids go there and certainly celebrate and enjoy the surroundings. So 2 more questions, because I'm being reminded by council we're still in a meeting and have to get back to that.
Thank you very much. My name is Lian Yang from Canada One Family Network. We are the cultural center to promote traditional Chinese culture. Thanks a lot for this year. We got the Celebrate Markham funding from our mayor and the city councilor support Chinese traditional culture. And we make this happen to show our traditional culture in Markham. And we also get the funding from the Heritage Canada to support us, to support Chinese culture, to be showing and represent our very, very nice local artists and a lot of events in Canada and in Markham. So this is the way we give the answer to those people, how beautiful our culture is, right? So we get support from all our community to make this happen. We have 3 events for art exhibition, for concert, or the concert is just next door on October 10th. We will invite all of us to participate in this beautiful event, to see our local artists performance in our Markham Theater. And also we have body art gallery demonstration of Chinese traditional culture, like tea ceremony, like the Qing Qi Shu Hua. This is the Guqing music, art demonstration. All these beautiful things, plus nice food. We have organic food, we have nice tea. We demonstrate Chinese beautiful culture. So everybody welcome to have this experience, to know how about Chinese culture. Thank you very much. And everyone.
I'm going to leave the 2, I said 2 last questions. I'm going to leave the 2 last questions to the media. And again, I appreciate everyone coming out today. You're certainly welcome to stay, but I've never seen a group of councillors that want to get back to work so much than the ones I've got right here. So just to the media, 2 more questions. If not, yes, go ahead. Just speak up.
Thank you, Frank. If I may ask, how have we hold the game developer accountable for this? Because, in my opinion, even if by issuing a formal apology, it's not an adequate, in my opinion, because if a game developer can attack our minority group by just creating a game and then apologizing afterwards, that sends a message to a bad business practice. And for other game developers as well, they may also want to tackle, today they may be tackling Chinese, tomorrow it may be Indian, it may be Muslim. How have we hold them accountable for that, and how can we prevent further racial discrimination actions against certain game developers like that? Thank you.
Well, look, I normally try to attract business to Markham, but this is one I'd be glad if they moved to another municipality. I think we're holding them accountable by what we're doing here today, what many have done over the last few days by speaking out. And I think obviously we have to all work within the framework of the law, and I'll leave it to others to determine what that is. I'm understanding from our clerk that we don't license this business, so we don't have a business license to revoke. It's not a business that we license in the community. So again, they'll be operating within the framework of the law. If there's further action to be taken by any agency, then they will undertake it. But absolutely, we're holding them accountable today by what we're doing as council and as a community.
Thank you.
And are you a member of the media? I'm just going to have to check because.
I'm from Epoch Times.
Okay.
Just want to ask you about this initiative from Clean Chinese Restaurant. It's very refreshing and very inspiring, and it's a peaceful way to show the true Chinese culture. Would you mind talking a little bit, elaborate a little bit?
Okay, I know during our meeting, like internal meeting, we don't want to talk about the name of this game, right? Because we don't want to have these impressions to anybody. So we have this counter-attack, clean Chinese restaurants. Because Chinese restaurants here, they have a long history. So we came a long way to today. So it's different. It's a different story than a long time ago. Like in people's impression, they may still have like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, the Chinese restaurants and all the health conditions. So, but we have been coming to here for a long way, and we have done so much efforts. So in our internal meeting, we have been talking to our own members. So we got 200 entrepreneurs across Canada. So we want to open our kitchen. So some of our members want to open our kitchen to the media, and they can come and see how clean we are and how we prepare the food, how we then the processing of the food. And we also have some of our members have the central kitchen, and they prepare the food for all the chain stores. So we want to invite the media, invite the public. If they're interested, they can come and investigate, and they can come and talk about the ingredients we use, the purchasing channels we have been using. So we want to show people the clean image, the right image to show to the public, to all the audience, even to the game, the business who's making this game coming to visit us. And they will change their impressions. They will change their stereotype of the Chinese restaurants. So we want to, wave the campaign to make the whole country know that our business is clean, our business is healthy, and our business is a great part of the Chinese culture, the Chinese and Canadian culture here. Thank you.
It's like an open Markham concept, open door. In a way, it's a way of encouragement, but also at the same time encourage the members to uphold the best quality and also the positive way in the kitchen for themselves as well too. So it's a two-way stream and a positive way.
So I just want again in closing thank everyone, but thanks to the restaurateurs that are out today. I'm very proud of the restaurants that are in the city of Markham because not only do we get to enjoy some amazing cuisine, but I have to tell you that people come across the province and in fact North America. I have bumped into people that have traveled as far away as New York City to come and get great Chinese food at one of our Chinese restaurants. So I thank you for the great work that you do. Thanks to members of the public for coming out today. I think we've demonstrated once again here in the city of Markham, no one is going to be taken advantage of. We are going to celebrate the wonderful achievements that so many people have accomplished within our city. So I thank you for coming out, and I do want to invite members of council to join our guests, so we'll get one picture with members of council. Thank you very much.
Sorry.